Hey guys, welcome to the Blue Corner, birthday edition and all that jazz. In today's episode, I'll be showing you guys an update to Disaster&Dragon. Yeah! You guys been asking about this one? What are some ideas to take the deck following Extreme Victory and as things move on, because the format is going to become extremely sacky with the release of Librarian, and yeah, just things to watch out for, I guess. So I'll do an update to the my deck, and then just point out some important things. Yeah, so let me just cut out of here, sprawl the deck out on the mat, and we'll get right down to it. Okay, we're back. Here's the deck in its full 40-card glory. Quick rundown: three Red-Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon, 1 Primordial Dragon, 3 Clarke and KotU, 3 Red-Eyes Wyvern, 3 Masked Dragon, 2 Doctor Dragon, 2 Delta Flyer, 1 Totem Dragon for the monsters, double Sark, double MST, double Duality, Book of Moon, Dark Hole, Giant Grenade, Monsterborn, yeah. 2 Burst Breath, 2 Dust Tornado, 2 Solemn Warning, Call, Royal Oppression, 1 Spiritual Wind Dart, Miyabi, 1 Solemn Judgment, into 1 Torrential Tribute. That concludes the in-deck. So I'll just cut it here and go over things from graded history. Okay, so now you've seen the whole deck. You've probably noticed a few things, especially if you've been on the TCG Player forums for Disaster&Dragon as of late, because the deck has been built following influences and stuff that we've just been talking about. Let's see. It's got a little bit of KotU's current build, a little bit of Clarke's current build, and some stuff from before. This guy, I was running it at 2, when it chopped it down to 1. I was thinking of cutting it out entirely, for just so I could put a 7 tools or an Exploder or Dread Dragon in, but I just like how I have that card that can make my wind monsters, who are already pretty potent, even better by tributing them to spin cards off the field if my opponent tries to prison or something. Because when you open with a Drago, it really annoys people, because plants, they can't start doing their sacky stuff because Doppel Warrior's dark, Junk Synchron's dark. They can go Lone Fire stuff, but they can't make Formula Synchron, so they're gonna go out of their way to make plays, all because you've opened with a 1900 attacker that stops light and darks. Agents, they can't summon their big monsters at all because the entire deck's light. Samurais cannot make Shien, and nobody will be able to make Hyper Librarian. He doesn't stop Trishula from hitting the field, who's the other of the big 4. But he does stop a lot of decks from making Trishula because they can't spam cards like Formula Synchron or Gen X Ally Birdman. And the 1900 attack is just enough so that Reborn Tengu can't crash into it to get it off the field. So all in all, Drago is an extremely good card. He will be extremely important as things move on prior to the ban list, because being able to stop Hyper Librarian stops a lot of decks down really hard. Because without Hyper Librarian, they can't draw through their stuff to make up for all the combos. No explanation needed on the 3 Wyvern, 3 Masked Dragon. They've been too good not to have at 3. 2 Dodger Dragon. His effect, it's not ignition, it's not a trigger, and I don't think even Veiler does anything about it. You summon him, you shut off counter traps for the turn. So basically, you summon him, remove him for Darkness Metal. You summon him, you play Future Fusion if you've already baited out that MST or that Royal Oppression. Or you summon him while you've got a Delta Flyer in the field, and you make Black Rose. They can't warning it, and they lose everything. 2 Delta Flyer, just an extremely nice card. You've noticed that I don't run Dread Dragon right now. What the synchros that you can make with Delta Flyer are far more important than the synchros you can get off of Dread Dragon. Who knows what will happen when the ban list comes in and what things happen, but for now, I would definitely recommend 2 Delta Flyer, and if you have to, cut a Dread Dragon for it. Dread Dragon is still good in certain builds like Light and Darkness Disaster, because you want a tuner that you can use to tune with Lad while you've got a decent field to make Trident Jaggy on, and not blow up your field. And finally, Totem Dragon. You can go 1, you can go 2. It's really a player preference. Totem Dragon will be even better once Leviathan Dragon comes out, because you can just use these 2 to make your Leviathan Dragon, and then send Totem Dragon to the graveyard as an overlay unit for his effect, and Totem Dragon's not removed from play afterwards. Double Gold Sarks. Gone back to these. They're just really good to open with. It's really about your opening plays, at least how this format is. You've got 3 to 4 turns to set up your field, otherwise your opponent's probably done that, and you have to work extremely hard to take control back from them. And Gold Saga is just another means of getting to your good cards such as Future Fusion, Giant Trunade, Dark Hole, Monster Reborn, Call the Haunted. Like it just gets you your limited cards that much faster. 2 Mystical Space Typhoon, no explanation needed there. 2 Pot of Duality. If I could, I would run 3 actually. It's just that good in this deck now. What Pot of Duality does for Disaster&Dragon, aside from just getting you to your stuff 1 card thin later, is it just allows you to be less reliant on the Future Fusion combos and being able to just use your dragons and your spells and traps for the situation. It just gives you more flexibility in your plays. Like, you've got a Drago on the field, you've got a Call the Haunted set, and you've got, say, and you've just played your Pot of Duality. In your next 3 draws, you see a Future Fusion, that would have been your top deck, a Red Eyes Wyvern, and a Burst Breath. And you're facing plants. Well, now, from those cards, you've got something that you can use to clear out their field, because plants rarely have things with higher defense than Dragos attack. So in that case, I would take the Burst Breath, set it, and now your opponent has to be wary of trying to drop a whole bunch of monsters, because then you can flip up Burst Breath, nuke their field, and they get mad. There's a lot of other examples, but like that's a more broad one. Or you play Pot of Duality. You've already got Drago, Darkness Metal, and Prime Material on the field, so your opponent can't gorge you. They can't Dark Hole you. You flip up, you play Duality. You check your next 3 draws. You see a Call the Haunted. You see a Dark Hole, and you see another Duality. I'd take the call that way on the next turn if need be. You can get rid of Drago, then play Call the Haunted again, and chain it in response to your opponent trying to summon from the Synchron. Such forth, yeah, you don't have a drag on the field. Your opponent special summons Treeborn Frog. They pitch a card to special summon for Pitchfork Blaster. You chain Call the Haunted in response, special summon Crackmere Drago. They can't summon from the Synchron, they mad. On that note, Burst Breath, 2 of them actually. Frankly, having a lot of more cards that help you clear enemy fields is extremely important right now. It's all about disrupting your opponent's field, and the fact is, your dragons have better attack than most decks' defense. Samurai are a bit of an exception because their main normal summoned guys, well, barring Kazan, have all pretty good defense. I mean, if I remember right, Kagemusha has 1800 and Kageki has 2000. And that makes it a bit difficult to Burst Breath a Samurai field, but against plants, against agents, and against a lot of other decks, Burst Breath will wipe fields out. It's chainable, so you can use it in response to a Dimensional Prison, you can use it in response to your opponent trying to Trunade while they've got a Dandelion, or they've got that Lone Fire they just revived off of other stuff. It's definitely 2. Or better yet, you've got a Drago on the field, you've got Burst Breath and Call the Haunted set, and you've just played your Future Fusion a couple turns before, so you've got your 5-headed dragon coming up next turn. Your opponent has a couple defender monsters. Say you ran into a Spirit Reaper, so you can't really get around it. Your opponent ends their turn, end phase, Burst Breath, clear their Reaper and their tokens. You drop 5-headed dragon next turn, flip a Call the Haunted, special summon Crackmere Drago back. They can't gorge you, they mad. Dust Tornadoes, 2 of them. Better choice to run right now than Forbidden Lance, at least until priority rule changes come in. Dust Tornado just lets you preemptively kill back row, then set stuff to use on your next turn. I'm definitely liking this one. 2 Solemn Warning, staple. Call the Haunted, really good in here. I already explained one play you can do with Call the Haunted, that'd be Burst Breathing and Drago. The other one is, of course, you special summon Darkness Metal and you revive him. Other stuff with it. And it can also help to lead up to all kinds of stuff. I mean, if you've got an open field and your opponent tries to attack and you Call the Haunted your Mass Dragon, you can then get a Search, who then gets you another Mass Dragon, and so on and so on. So Call the Haunted with Mass Dragon in the graveyard is also a really nice play. Royal Oppression, no explanation needed there. It's pretty much required in the main deck these days. Wind Dart, I've got 10 targets, so a lone wind dart isn't going to be that bad. You tribute off your Drago or whatever, you spin a card off the field. Again, it's a really nice card to use in response to your opponent's monster removal, because God knows Dimensional Prison isn't needing enough of these days. Solomon's Ritual. So that is it for the main deck. Let's do the extra deck, just pre-Generation Force. AwakenedDragon and Leviathan Dragon will be working here if I can get my hands on both of them. That said, 1 5-headed dragon, no explanation needed here, you need him. 1 Ally of Justice Decisive Arms. This is a nice tech to use against agent heavy metas. He just completely wrecks those decks. He's got a nice 3300 attack, so he's even bigger than Herald of Perfection if you can somehow get him out against them. And, let's read off his effects again. If your opponent controls a face-up light monster, again, agents, you can activate one of these effects. Select 1 set card your opponent controls and pop it. Send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard to destroy all spell or traps your opponent controls. Or send all cards in your hand to the graveyard to look at your opponent's hand and send all light monsters in their hand to the graveyard. Then inflict damage equal to their combined attack. Yeah. Do that against Agent Herald or just agents in general. Ouch. Like seriously, ouch. Tri-Dragon, occasional TK, Trishula, one of the sackiest cards ever made. One of them, definitely. And then 2 Stardust Dragon, 2 Scrap Dragon, 1 Red Dragon Archfiend, 1 Thought Wither Archfiend, 1 Ancient Fairy, Black Rose, Exploder Dragon Wing, Bryonak, and Catastar. This will definitely be going out for AwakenedDragon or Leviathan Dragon, whichever one I can get my hands on. And then I'll show you guys my current side. This is definitely going to change though, so I would not use this exactly, but it's a pretty good idea of what to go with. 2 Thunder King Ryo, because his one effect only stops Pot of Duality. His other effect stops like inherent special summons. So yeah, he's not actually a bad card, right? He stops agents, he stops samurai, and those 2 decks are really annoying, especially the samurai. My God, that deck's annoying. He's making it attack, so he's not that easy to run over. All in all, just a nice card. 2 Magic Drain. Your opponent is either going to have to discard a card to get their spell to go through, or they're going to just lose their spell. With most decks only running staples plus in-theme support, Magic Drain will hit some decks pretty hard. 2 Crossout, pretty much a side deck staple at this point. I mean, kills Rykos, kills Set Samurai, because a lot of times if they can't Shia in their hand, then they can't really do anything against your dragon, so you just cross them out. Stops the set cards your sabers use, because all their sets are almost always Dark Soul or Ember's Blade. And he's even good in the mirror too. 2 Bottomless Trap Hole, bring him in for the decks that Bottomless Trap Hole really works on. No explanation otherwise. Debunk, just an excellent card in general. I mean, you stop Plant Frog, other plays, you stop Effect Baylor, DD Crow. It's just a really nice card. Pull on the Rug, effective against agents, monarchs, gadgets, dragoonies, like the decks that like get stuff advantage off of their normal summons. Pull on the Rug stops. And finally, 3 Rivalry of the Warlords, because it completely fucks around with a lot of decks. And that's pretty much everything I wanted to get across in this video. Important points to note were 3 Drago, Gold Sarks, Duality, Burst Breath, 3 Red Extracted Metal Dragons. There was a time where we were going back down to 2. I would advise against this. And I would also advise against not having Primary Shield Dragon. He's just too good to keep in the main. And Rivalry of the Warlords is again an awesome card for your side. So I hoped this helped some people trying to figure out some ideas for their standard disaster decks. At this point, the best variants are Standard and Light and Disaster. Those would be the 2 Dragon decks to run at this point. That said, thank you guys for watching, and until the next time, take care.